Hi, I'm Rebecca. Welcome to Autism in the Raw. I mentioned before that I was having a little trouble with having tutors come to our house to work with Alex. Initially it was a bruise to my ego because I kind of equated it with me being a failure. Then yesterday one of the girls was here and I was sitting at the computer staring at a blinking cursor because I was trying to think of something to write, and I was eavesdropping on Alex's lesson. The tutor asked him, "Who's your teacher?" When I ask this question, he rattles off all the names of everyone who's involved with our home program. But when she asked him, he answered without hesitation, "Beck is my favorite teacher." I should mention that he calls me Beck and not Mom, unless he's bleeding or whining about having to brush his teeth. I'm his favorite teacher. Even with my clenched teeth, when I have gone over personal pronouns for the 10 millionth time, even though I make mistakes that I fear will ruin him for life, I'm his favorite. Our lessons kind of would go like this. I would direct him, "Alex, touch your nose." "What are you doing?" "I am touching your nose." "My nose." Then he reaches to touch my nose. Okay, start over. "Alex, touch your nose." "What are you doing?" "I am touching my nose," I would interject. "My nose," he would repeat. "Good, now say the whole thing. What are you doing?" "I don't know." You get the idea. Sometimes I think I should get a good drunk on before I start the lessons. But I'm his favorite. It's me. I knew I was the best French toast maker. I knew that I was only the one who could wiggle a loose tooth. But his favorite teacher? That makes me happy. And he's finally got personal pronouns. Now we're working on prepositions. When I told my doctor that I needed to increase the dosage of my medication because I was working on prepositions with my son, the "in front of" preposition, my doctor gave me an odd look, so I had to put it in words that he would understand. I told him that if he didn't prescribe me a strong sedative, I was going to throw myself in front of a street sweeper. Really, I have to admit that things improved so much since we got the tutors. I do well with monkey see, monkey do, so I think all I needed was to see the stuff put into action to figure out what I was doing wrong. Now Alex and I are both less frustrated doing our lessons. There's far less damage to the enamel on my teeth, which is a good thing. And looking at the glass half full, I suppose there was an important lesson to be learned from my frustration. Alex learned how to soothe others. When he sees me losing my cool, he'll say, "It's okay, Beck, calm down. Alex is here." I'm so lucky to have such a patient kid. And as much as I hate corny platitudes, I have to say this one. I have learned far more from Alex than he has from me. He's taught me so much, and I'm so grateful that he's my son. And I'm his favorite teacher. It's been 9 years since Alex was diagnosed. In fact, my husband lost his job last month, and we had to contact Social Security to see if we could get help for Alex. We weren't prepared for all the questions they were going to ask us, so while my husband John had them on the phone, I had to search through my filing cabinet full of documents on Alex to find his medical records so that we could give them the date of the official diagnosis. It turns out that the date of the official diagnosis was June 23rd, 2000. It so happens that it was exactly 9 years to the day, and that really hit me hard. When I realized that, it kind of just propelled me back to that day and hearing those words for the first time and just how miserable it felt. It's funny how over time your perspective changes. When Alex was much younger, I used to ask, why? Why me? Why was I given a child with autism? Now, I feel like Alex is the one who got the shitty end of the stick. Why did he get stuck with a needy, neurotic, manic depressive for a mother? So, in light of all of the progress that we've made and all of the changes for the better for Alex and our family, I want to give plugs to all the people who have helped me be a better teacher and advocate for Alex. I found two groups of people completely by accident online. One group is the Direct Instruction group, and the other is the Standard Acceleration Society. There are many people who kind of cross over between the two groups. I've never met any of them, but I know their names and have imagined how each and every one of them must look. The Direct Instruction guru is Zig Engelman. I know what he looks like because his picture is on his site, Zig's site. He lives in Oregon, he plants trees, and he paints. I've read some of his papers he has written, and I want to sit at his feet and have him tell me stories. Then there is Martin Kozloff, who I imagine as a wild-eyed man with hair like Einstein and clothes like Brian Wilson. On the Standard Acceleration Society listserv, everyone on this list has a PhD, and they all talk about Ogden Lindsley and B.F. Skinner in familiar terms. There's Nancy Hughes, who I imagine wears her hair neatly set, wears a lab coat over a pretty floral dress, and clogs. Michael Maloney, I know what he looks like. He is a soft-spoken gentleman who has helped us more than he will ever know. Shoes is the type of guy I suspect that smokes a pipe and drinks iced tea. He has loyal, faithful dogs, and his grandchildren beg to hear his stories. Dennis Ettinger, the purist, always referring to the science and Og. Scott Bourne, wickedly witty. Stu Harder, Will Barrow, John Eschleman. I'm glad I had the opportunity to download all of your files in instruction before they disappeared into the void. Scott Woods, Rick Kubina, who I first contacted, and he directed me to the lists. Dick Briggs, with My Breakfast Reading Program, who took the time to walk me through his program over the telephone. Regina Claypool-Frey, who has to be the most on-the-ball person I've ever known. She is a fountain of resources. Michael Lamport-Commons, Rose Bauman, Charles Merbitz, Nancy Merbitz, Baker Mitchell, Jean Richardson, Katherine Johnson, more and more and more. All of these people have gone out of their way to provide me with the information I needed to get it right with Alex. All of these people are brilliant, and I'm so indebted to them. Much of their conversations are way over my head, and I felt like I did as a kid when I would eavesdrop on the adults. I had no idea what they were talking about, but I knew it was something important and that I should listen and try to learn as much as I can. I will have links to all of these sites on Autism in the Raw coming next month. Just briefly want to say, too, that I apologize if I mispronounced your name. And I think I am most grateful to Al Gore for inventing the internet so that all of this could be made possible. Thank you. Have a good night.